Namaste everyone, I'm your co-host Shravani ma'am. Welcome to your favorite learning channel. The topic for today's video is vacuoles. So as we were discussing about various cell organelles, today in continuation with those cell organelles, we will be discussing about vacuoles in detail. Okay, so what are vacuoles? They are actually the vacuoles. Okay, they mainly help in storage. So vacuoles are basically storage sacs for what? For solid or liquid content. Okay, so these are small sized and temporary. Okay, so how are vacuoles in animal cells? So vacuoles are actually small sized and temporary in animal cells. Okay, but they are distinct and permanent in plant cells. Okay, so the central vacuole of some plant cells, they may occupy 50 to 90% of the cell volume. So in plants, the central vacuole can occupy about 50 to 90% of the cell volume. Okay, then in plant cells, vacuoles are full of cell sap and they provide turgidity. In plants, what happens? The vacuoles are full of cell sap and they provide turgidity to the plant cells, and along with turgidity they also provide rigidity to the cells. So many substances of importance of life of the plant cells are stored in vacuoles. Okay, so these substances include storage substances in plants that are important for their life. What are such storage substances that are present in vacuoles in plant cells? They are amino acids, sugars, okay, then various other substances are stored in vacuoles. Okay, so in single-celled organisms like in amoeba, the food vacuole contains the food items that the amoeba has consumed, and in some unicellular organisms, specialized vacuoles also play important roles in expelling excess water and some waste from the cells. Okay, so what happens? Now if we talk about some single-celled organisms, that is unicellular organisms, for example in amoeba, what happens in amoeba? The food vacuole contains, here they have food vacuole which contains food that the amoeba has consumed. Okay, then in some other unicellular organisms there are specialized vacuoles. that also play important roles in expelling. What do they expel? They expel excess water and some wastes from the cell. Okay, so this is in case of some other unicellular organisms. So the vacuole is, now this vacuole, it is bound by a membrane. It is bound by a membrane, and what is this called? This is called the tonoplast. Alright, and it occupies a central position of the cell and so pushes the nucleus and other organelles near the boundary wall. Okay, so this is about the vacuole. Now let's talk about the functions that are performed by the vacuoles. Okay, so what are the functions, let's see, that are performed by vacuoles? So the first function is that the vacuoles help to maintain osmotic pressure. They help in maintaining osmotic pressure where in a cell. Okay, then the vacuoles, they also help to store, they help to store what? To store toxic metabolic byproducts. Toxic metabolic byproducts of plant cells. Okay, then it also provides, that is the vacuoles also provide, so it provides turgidity as well as rigidity, turgidity and rigidity to plant cells. Okay, so these are the main functions performed by the vacuoles. Okay, so now let's quickly revise the things that we have studied today about vacuoles. So now we know that vacuoles, they are actually the storage sacs for solid or liquid content. Okay, so these are actually small sized and temporary in case of animal cells, whereas they are distinct and permanent in case of plant cells. Here we can see it is a plant cell. This is a diagram of plant cell and this is the vacuole. So vacuole is distinct and permanent in plant cells, whereas if we look at animal cells, this is the vacuole in animal cell. Okay, so the vacuole is small size and it is temporary in animal cell. Okay, but in plant cell it is distinct and permanent. Then in plants, the central vacuole, okay, it occupies around 50 to 90% of the cell volume. And what happens in case of plants? In plants, these vacuoles, they have cell sap. They are full of cell sap and they provide turgidity as well as rigidity to the plant cells. Okay, then there are many substances that are very important for the life of plant cells that are stored in these vacuoles, such as the amino acids, sugars, etc. These are stored in the vacuoles in case of plant cells. Okay, then we talked about some unicellular organisms. For example, amoeba. What happens? They have a food vacuole where the food is stored that is consumed by amoeba. Whereas in some other unicellular organisms, there are specialized vacuoles. What do? They play an important role in expelling excess water and some waste from the cell. Okay, so the vacuole is actually bound by a membrane, by a single membrane that is known as the tonoplast. Then we also discussed about the functions of vacuoles. So vacuoles help in maintaining osmotic pressure in a cell. They also help to store the toxic metabolic byproducts of plant cells, and they provide turgidity as well as rigidity to the plant cells. These are the three main important functions performed by vacuoles. Okay. So I hope you all would have got some great insights by watching today's video. Please do not forget to like and share the video. Till then, thank you for watching.